Hey, yeah, we going big, going big. We going big, going big. We going big, going big. Don't trip, gotta get it how you live, hey, yeah.
Welcome to the Let's Think About It podcast, where high achievers stop performing and start transforming. I'm Coach Mo, certified core energy leadership coach, founder of the Inner Arena and creator of the SWAG framework. Self-awareness, why power, aligned action, and grit. Around here, we train your mindset, challenge your limits, and turn pressure into purpose. Subscribe now and join me on YouTube at Swag Coaching. So let's get your reps in.
We going big, going big. We going big, going big. We going big, going big. Don't trip, gotta get it how you.
Welcome to another episode of the Let's Think About It podcast. I'm your coach, Coach Mo. And I'm here with another amazing guest, Adam Roach. Adam, what's good, bro?
Coach Mo, man, it is so good to be here. Thank you for having me, coming to you from Charleston, South Carolina. I am excited to be on this show, man. Really excited.
Charleston, South Carolina. Man, I hear the food is amazing out there.
Man, if you are a foodie, come home. This place is amazing. We've got cuisines from all over the country, man. It is really good. Don't come here for a fast food because we don't got any.
That's what I'm talking about. So, man, tell us who you are, what you do, and the type of value that you bring.
Man, I'll start first. I'm just a child of God, man. That's got to give him the glory. But I'm an Indiana boy, heart, right? That's where I started. I'm a grandson of a big-time farmer. I'm the son of an Olympic swim coach, and I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I have played professional tennis. I was a collegiate tennis player, and then myself in your neck of the woods, but I was in SoCal, not NorCal. And I was there for 10 years and then got into the real estate world as well and started buying real estate franchises. And so I owned 3 of them here on the East Coast. And in 2019, my father, who had been my coach my entire life, he passed from Parkinson's related issues. And I had to pause, right? I had to really pause and understand who was I? Where did I want to go? What was I surrendering to in this next iteration of my life, not having my earthly father? And I heard loud and clear, go surround yourself with better people. Go surround yourself with different people. And so if you look at, my pastor gave it to me right there, Proverbs 13:20, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm, right? And so that was
That's
a space that I have leaned into now of building the I Love Coaching community, right? And the I Love Coaching community is just that. It's a community of coaches. And we are there to serve each other. So it's to empower coaches to change and serve 100 million people using our Real Coach method. And the neat part about it, Mo, we've now been on 4 continents, which is incredible.
That is incredible.
And it's one of those things where John Maxwell has been a dear coach and mentor of mine for a long time. He says, Adam, go do something so big that you are having a path built by significance, not success, because success will follow significance. But I want people to look at you and say, damn, what he did, he couldn't have done that on his own. He had God on his side. And so that's who I am, man. And that's where we're growing today.
Man, I love that. You know, I'm listening to you and I hear all of these amazing things that you're doing, right? But you know what stuck out to me is you said you had to pause. Right.
Big time.
And I think the work that we do as coaches, right? We work with, in my particular field, working with leaders, executives, first-time managers, supervisors, and then more importantly, individuals leading self first, right? One of the things that they struggle with is the pause, right?
Yep.
And how we lead ourselves affect how we build and lead others.
That's right.
Right. And so help me, my audience, understand, like, how did you initially learn to create that pause within self first? Was it something that was tragic that made you say, you know what, I need to pause? Was it just natural self-awareness? What does that look like?
That's a great question. No, definitely tragic was my father's passing. And here's the thing, though. Pause as an entrepreneur, it's tough, man, because we are on the go. We've got to, we eat what we kill, right? We grow, and every single day we're hunting. But when my father passed, we call it the beach chair moment in the community, because this community would not be here, unfortunately, had he not passed, because I wouldn't have paused. So when he was on his deathbed, I have an amazing picture. It's framed up right over there. It's me giving him one more hug. And I told him, I said, Dad, I'm probably not going to be on as many magazine covers as you. I'm probably not going to be in a Hall of Fame like you are. I said, but I'm going to beat you at one thing, because he's past in his 60s. I said, I'm going to beat you in one thing, and that's going to be age when I die. And so I joined a functioning medicine doctor type place. And no, what they told me was my cortisol level was through the roof. Right. And he says, are you an entrepreneur? And I said, yep. And he says, all right. He goes, if you want to live to be 103, we're going to have to make some changes. I was like, okay, what are we going to do? He says, first thing, you're going to go for a walk. I said, walk? It was a walk. And he says, you're going to go for a walk. I said, tell me more. He said, every day I want you to go for a 30-minute walk. I said, walk like in jog? He says, no. He says, level 2 cardio. You're going to go for a walk. That level 2 cardio means that you can still carry a conversation. If you're huffing and puffing, you're not at level 2. Okay. And he says, what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to slow down. All right. I said, I begrudgingly do this for a week. It's been 6 years, my man.
Wow.
Every day for 30 minutes. Now, here's what it's transformed into and I won't miss it anywhere in the world, wherever I am, right? That is my time. And I don't listen to podcasts. I don't listen to music. I go out. It's 5 a.m. usually. Every time I go for a walk, did it this morning. And I'll listen for 10 things. There's a bird. There's a boat. There's a frog. There's a car, right? Whatever it is. And once I get to 10, it's 30 minutes. I go for a 30-minute walk. I start to pray out loud. Right? I just start to share. I literally just start to say thank you, or I'll start to ask, or I'll start to talk. But here's the crazy part. I know one day somebody in my neighborhood is going to call and say, hey, there's a bald-headed crazy man walking around here talking out loud at 5 o'clock in the morning. We might need to come get this guy. I get my blood drawn every quarter. The doctor was like, I don't know how you did it, but your cortisol level has shot. It's bottomed out. So we know you're stressed. We know you're anxious. But if you are not establishing this in your world, in your daily routine, you're missing out on big time opportunities, because we know that when you're stressed and when you have high anxiety, your creative juices are gone, right? And as entrepreneurs, as business owners, you have to have a creative side. You've got to have a release somehow, some way. But if you're stressed, if you're high cortisol, that creative space is gone. And I know that to be true because I lived in that space. I still live in it from time to time.
Yep.
And I go for a walk. Just go for a walk.
Man, I love that. I love that. I love that. Because what I also hear is you created a new pattern, a new habit, right?
Yep.
Whether it doesn't matter how you got there, it's a pattern. And that pattern is the 30-minute walk every single day, right? And so you have this new conditioning of self around health, because that's important, right? And everything flows from that, right? It's a habit in a sense that this new behavior that doesn't interrupt your day. It's part of the day. It's indulged in the day, right? And the way that I look at it, when we transform this into leadership, right? When you can model the way, right? Maybe understanding the pause, like you said, and within your pause is to take a walk. Maybe someone else might be to do a little bit of a box breathing technique, meditation, drop on the podcast, whatever that looks like, right?
Yeah.
But what that does is create a space where you're modeling the way for your team, right? And that's what your team trusts. That's what they believe. That's what they start to feel, because that energy transmutes towards them. Because in these environments that we're in, a lot of organizations is under a lot of different scrutiny, whether it's bureaucracy, whether it's budget constraints, doesn't matter, right? We feel we got to push harder. And what does the team see? They see their supervisor, their CEO pushing harder. And guess what they feel that they have to do?
All right. Yeah. And here's the thing, if you think about that from like an engine terminology, the more you redline an engine, the harder it is on that engine, right?
Yes.
And redlining does not get you anywhere faster. It doesn't.
Oh,
Redlining does not get you anywhere faster. Why? Because you have to shift gears. And what happens when you shift gears? Your RPMs go down,
yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
then you can start to go a little bit faster. And so so my routine in the morning is I go for a walk and then I walk to the gym, right? So I walk to the gym every single day, rain or shine. And that's where my pause time gets interrupted on purpose, right? Because I believe we up here go 1,000 miles per hour, and you have to exhaust the body to control the mind, right? You do. If we don't get into that state of fight or flight, right? I'll get into the gym and I'll push really hard and I'll look down and my heart rate's like 145, 150, 160. My body's not worried about what podcast I'm on today. My body's not worried about what deep dive I'm doing today or what community call I'm doing today. It's worried about surviving, right?
Yeah.
And so guess what that does? It removes all of that stress, self-induced, to say, whoop, I've got to survive. So exhaust the body, control the mind. And then guess what I do after the gym? Walk home again.
That's right.
That a pause is so powerful. So powerful.
Well, I always bring this analogy up. Think about it in sports.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Basketball, football, right? The momentum is shifting. And the other team is on some sort of run. Guess what the coach always does?
Timeout.
Timeout.
That's right.
And what does the timeout give people on the team the opportunity to do? Pause.
Either a 90-second or 2-minute timeout, right? Isn't that basketball?
Right. Right. And tennis. Right?
Same thing. Yeah. Yep. You got to change over. Yep.
The pause.
Yeah.
And when you're pausing and doing the change, what are you thinking? You're thinking of better strategy and how you're going to approach the next set.
That's right. Yeah. Actually, you have pauses between points too. And so when I was playing tennis, we had a system. I want our listeners to hear this because you could probably implement something like this. I think it was 15 seconds in between each point is the rules. Somewhere around those there. It's not less than that. Might be greater, but somewhere around there. Okay, maybe 24 seconds. I can't remember. But here's what we did. So if you were on your dominant hand, after each point, you had to switch your racket from your dominant hand to your non-dominant hand. Energy out. Done. And you turned your back to the court. This is a system. Turn your back to the court. You're done with that point. The racket's in your non-dominant hand. And when you're ready, you look down at your racket and you pick your strings, right? That's just kind of a release. Walk back to the back fence, touch it. Now, when you're ready, turn back, face the court, switch that racket to your dominant hand, and get ready for the next point because you can't do anything about yesterday. Can't do anything about the point you just missed or you just won. It is done, right? And as we look at our calendar, where are we building a system of pausing so that we can prepare for the next one?
Right? Man, I love that. And every sport has their system, right? Basketball, you go to the free throw line, you have a technique, right? Sure. You take that, you see the athletes in real time doing this.
Yeah.
Take that deep breath, look at the court, and whatever that technique that they're taught, probably from when they were in AAU, they do that technique first. They visualize the ball going in and remind you it's going crazy around you.
Crazy.
But they're zoomed out. And we're focused on that breath.
Nailed it.
That pause, right? And then we execute. Football, same thing. Quarterback getting ready to go in, last minute of the game to tie. What are they doing? They're throwing reps on the side. That's their pause before they go in the game.
Now, wait a minute. Can we talk about my Indiana Hoosiers real quick in football? Can we?
Yeah. Come on, they just won the title, so yeah.
They did. Go from the worst to the best. But let's talk about this for a second. And there's this pause, right? Remember when it was like 4th down before Mendoza scored that wild and crazy quarterback sneak on 4th down? Remember that? I mean, it's all over the internet. Think about what that coach had to do. He's got his team. His second year, his team, a team that no one ever thought would be in a national championship football game.
Right.
Fourth down, they're winning by 3. They can kick a field goal and be up by 6, or they can go try to get the first down. But what does he do? Just like you said, timeout. Quarterback was on the sideline. He had to think it through. He had to pause. To your point, whatever, 80,000 people in the Miami Stadium are going nuts. Where was he? Right here.
Right.
All's the play. Quarterback sneak, 4th and 8.
Right.
Bro, he scores. He scores a touchdown.
Crazy. Now,
had that coach been wild and wound up and crazy, he probably wouldn't have called that call, right? He probably would have just said, oh, man, we've got to at least get some points on the board. Let's just kick a field goal. Dude, they won by 6.
So let me ask you this, though.
Yes.
Because we're both very sports-minded guys,
Yes.
right? In leadership, why do leaders miss that? Why do they miss that they can't pause, that they have to press harder? Where does that come from in your estimation?
Can't speak for anybody else, but I can speak for myself. In my past life, so I'll say that before the coaching community, I chased success. Man. And success for me was defined by money, was defined by notoriety. It was defined by everything me-oriented. Everything. And I'm being fully transparent here. Massive ego. And it wasn't until John said, hey, are you going to chase success your whole life or are you going to chase significance? And I didn't know what he meant. And it wasn't until I got to see my father's funeral. And Mo, this was a very pivotal time for me to understand your question. I'm speaking his eulogy and I'm looking out over the crowd, 300, 400, 500 people there, past athletes, other coaches, family members. And this guy comes up to me. And John says, when you chase significance, you create a legacy. And you can't have a legacy without the root word legs. And so this guy comes up to me. And now we're about the same age, so you can appreciate this. He comes up to me with an old school cassette recorder. Cassette, right? You put the thing in there, you push it down, and you push it.
Yeah.
And what he did, he's like, hey, I want you to know, when your dad was training me for the 84 Olympics, he said, I put this on the side of the pool deck. This guy was a breaststroker. So breaststrokes go up and they come down. They go up, they go down, right? Kind of like a porpoise. And he said, I had to record your dad's voice. Go, go, go. Because that gave me my cadence. And if I heard your dad's voice go, 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 it was for me to go faster, right? And he said, 27 years ago, I recorded that. And he says, I use it to this day for the people that I coach. Okay, so let's go back. When I sat down on my beach chair and I surrendered to surrounding myself with whys, I thought to myself, wow, all these years I've made this about myself. All these years. When I look at my dad, there was no Bill Roach memorial. There was no, it was all about his swimmers. It was all about his serving other coaches. And that's when I had to really say, okay, what is leadership? Well, we know it to be influence, right? You influence. But leadership as an influence means that you are getting people to take action. Mo, I was walking through my hallways of my real estate companies. I didn't know anybody's name. Guess what? They knew my name. Why? Because that's what I was focused on, myself.
Right.
I'll tell you now, brother, we have been blessed to serve coaches all over the world. I know every single one of their names. Why? Because it's no longer about me. This is not about me anymore. This is not about me in the sense of the leadership capacity. What I've been taught and what I share now, I want to share this with the listeners. Let's just take social media as an example. Social media is a platform for you to share. You can share entertaining stuff. You can share family stuff. But if you're on there in a space of what I call being a hero, which is making stuff about you, you are not in a space of providing for others. You're doing it for yourself, right?
Right.
And so when you realize that social media is not for you, it's for people watching you, it changes your whole dynamic approach to things. So I had to realize that, gosh, I'm going to sell everything. And I sold everything, and I stepped into this path of serving other people. And the success has been tenfold of what it was when I was chasing success. So you've got to realize who you are. You've got to realize your identity. You've got to realize that if you're focused on yourself, right? With the Hoosiers, we're not focused on himself. He's focused on the team, right?
Right.
Oza, the Hoosiers quarterback, he wasn't focused on success for himself. He wasn't out there saying, "I'm going to go make this play so I can win that, so I can become the number one draft pick in the NFL draft." No, he did it because his team. He wanted to do it for his teammates, and that's where I believe we've all got to grow up and wake up.
When you say ego, right? Because that's typically the driver in all of this is ego. And
Yep.
the ego, in my opinion, is the inner critic because it's always judging. It's always very critical in pushing you in certain directions to maximize your talent. And sometimes it's great. You know, that's how high performers are established, is going, doing whatever is necessary to take, right? But as you described and shared, it becomes evident that when you're chasing the dollar signs, when you are chasing the extrinsic value of things out there, it becomes a drain.
Yeah.
It becomes a drain. But then when you make that shift to understand the why, right? Like you said, now there's a natural shift of energy. And with that energy, you got swag.
Yeah.
You got swag. You got the self-awareness, you got the why power, you got the aligned actions, and then you got grit. That's power, bro.
Here's the ego play, right? Ego is a pose. P-O-S-E, it's a pose, right? Ego is a pose. And poses are created by a wound that you then create a lie around, that then you have a vow to overcome that lie, which creates your pose. Here's the neat part. Donald Miller wrote an amazing book called A Hero on a Mission. Highly recommend everyone reading it. And he says there's 4 characters at any one given time on anything. He says there's a victim. The victim is someone who is not willing to transform. You have the villain. The villain is someone that holds the victims down. Now, the third character most people would say is the hero. I'd say, nope. Donald Miller says, nope. It is the victim who is willing to transform. And then you have a guide. So as we coach coaches, as we coach people, we coach leaders, we have to ask them, who are you in this space? Are you a victim? Are you a villain? Are you a victim who's willing to transform? Or are you a guide? But let's look at it from our lens as coaches. We are not the heroes. We are the guides. And what is a guide? A guide has to have 2 things: empathy and competence. Because the hero is someone that is like, I can do it. Come on, I can do it. But they're not there yet, right? And the example that I give of guide language when I'm doing a keynote looks like this. I always have people pretend that they're walking through a forest, right? And they're walking through a forest. It's kind of dingy. It's kind of dark. It's a little cold. And they come across this huge hole. And they look down at this hole and they say, oh, there's 3 people in there. Oh, this is strikingly familiar. I've been in that hole before, right? If the hero was walking up to that hole, they would say, oh, look, there's a big old hole. Oh, there's people down there. Hey, kid, guess what? You can get out of there too. Come on, you can do it, right? The guide stays calm. The guide says, oh, I can see that cold looks dark. That hole looks dark. It looks dingy. It looks really cold down there. I know because I've been down there before.
Right.
And then the guide will say, here comes the permission part. And we have to hear this part. If I send a rope down, who's willing to use it? Right? Not I'm going to send a rope down. I will send a rope down, but I need to know who's willing to use it. That's when the victim who's willing to transform will raise their hand. That means a client, right? And then what the guide does, unlike a hero who's standing at the top of the hole, the hero would say, just grab the rope. Come on, pull yourself up, pull yourself up. No, the guide says, hey, competence part. There's 4 knots on that rope. I want you to put your left hand on the top of that knot, put your right hand on top of the other hand, put your feet on the wall, push yourself up and pull with your biceps. Go to the next knot, do the same thing. Next knot, do the same thing. When you get to the top, I want you to put your left hand on the ground, right hand on the ground, push yourself up and get out of the hole. That's guide language. And here's the thing that I would challenge the listeners to think about as they're thinking, which character are they? How many movies have you seen where there's two heroes?
No.
Ain't any, right? Because when there's two heroes, they clash.
Yes.
So the question is, as you are growing in this space, if you're on the social medias of the world, what type of language are you showing up with? Are you showing up with hero language or guide language? Because if you want to be a leader, if you want to be a guide, but yet you're showing up as a hero, and maybe I want to be the hero, we're going to clash. You won't attract me. But if you're being a guide and I want to be the hero and I see that you're the guide, I'm going to inquire if it solves my problem solution.
I love that. I love that. You mentioned a few times you help coaches. Tell us a little bit about the work that you do and the company that you represent.
Got it. So it's interesting because I don't look at it as a company. It is a business of mine. But I look at it as truly a community. No one works for Adam Roach. No one is an I Love Coaching coach. Everyone is their own unique entities. The I Love Coaching community is like their gym, right? It's a gym membership. And inside of that, we attract two types of coaches. Those coaches that are looking to launch and build a business. And then we attract the coaches who are looking to scale a business. Those two payoffs is what our blueprint aligns with. We have a 4-phase blueprint. And that blueprint looks like this. Phase 1, you got to go inside before you go outside. Because if you don't go in here first, if you don't identify who you are first, if you don't identify your own unique problem solution cycles, if you don't identify your avatar, if you don't identify your math, you are going to be a generalist rubber stamped coach, right?
Yep.
So that's phase 1. Phase 2 of the blueprint is what we call your one-on-one coaching proximity. Okay. Now, most coaches will teach you to coach to a group coaching first. Nope. I think that's wrong. And here's why I believe that is because right now, Mo, if you were a brand new coach, I would say, let's identify your unique problem solution cycle that you could help someone get to with what we call your payoff. And then there are people around you right now who are waiting for you to say, hey, I'm stepping in this coaching space and here's the solution I will provide to your problem. And they will say, I need your help, right? So we do one-on-one coaching first to keep your lights on. That's what we do first. And while you're going through that, we help you then identify what we call your process. You know your process up here, but we help you get that process out where now you can take that process. Because in phase 2, we teach you to go get 10 one-on-one coaching clients so you can have let's see, what do we say? $15,000 a month in 90 days, getting to $180,000 in a year by only working 5 hours a week. Phase 3 now is let's scale that. So let's double that income and reduce the output. But you can only do that if you have built a process. Right. Because the process is going to attract the peers of the people that you are already coaching one-on-one. Most coaches fail in this because they try to do this, Mo, is they will say, well, I got my process, right? For those that are watching, here's a process. This is version 8 of our blueprint, right? And what they'll do in the one-to-many or the group is they'll say, here's my whole process. I'm going to coach you all to this whole process. Wrong. Coach them to a chapter of it, not the whole thing. If they want the whole thing, now they got to come back to you for one-on-one. So now you can replace some of your original one-on-ones with some of the people that are in your group, and they will pay more money because they want proximity to you and they want compression of time. So that's how we help you in phase 3. Then phase 4, once you have all that defined, now we teach you to go become a best-selling author. Now we teach you how to get on a stage. Now we teach you how to do keynotes so that you can expand your unknown database to get them to a trust level, which is when they buy. So that's the $1 million space.
That's awesome.
Yep.
How does my audience find you?
Yep. Adam R. Roach. So Adam R. Roach, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Adam R. Roach. There's a middle initial there. If there are coaches on here, here's what I want you to do. is go to ilovecoachingco.com. The co stands for community, ilovecoachingco.com. And you'll see at the very top, it will say, find your path. And if you're brand new to coaching, you'll see it'll say new to coaching. And I want you to go download Get Paid to Coach. It's a guide. So You don't need me. You can use that guide. Go Get Paid to Coach. If you are a coach right now and you want to scale your business, go take our scorecard. The scorecard will tell you, is your model going to scale or is it not going to scale? Because a lot of people don't have hustle problems when they come to scale. They don't have talent problems when they come to scale. They have model problems. And that's what we help them do. So they can go to ilovecoachingco.com and they can go there.
So do you specifically work with coaches or anyone in leadership?
So mostly coaches. Yeah. But again, it's we will help leaders, but our avatar are those who are serving others in a coaching capacity.
Okay. Sounds great. Okay. So as we get ready to sign out, any lasting thoughts that you would like to share with the audience? Oh,
this is not about me. This is about this other, I think we might have the same barber. You're on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. We might have the same barber though, right? is Coach Mo. Whatever value he's out there providing, follow him, follow his stuff and engage with him even more. This is not about me. This is about the platform that he has created to bring you value. So lean into the value that he's providing.
I appreciate that. I really do. And I think the value that I really try to bring to most of our listeners is people like you that come on and just share wisdom. At the end of the day, I really believe it's about leading self first. And today, I think we really tapped into that at a deeper level. And more importantly, we talked about the pause. And that's something that anyone can do, is just learn the art of pausing.
So
and I'm so grateful and thankful for your wisdom today and bringing that sports analogy to it. Because at the end of the day, I really believe this. Leaders don't have a locker room. And today they stepped into the inner arena, and this was our locker room today. And we taught a new play. And that play was the art of pausing.
Come on. Attaboy. Nice, Coach Mo. Before we sign off, I want to invite you to the I Love Coaching podcast. Would you be a guest of mine?
I would love that.
Let's go. Okay, listeners, you'll have to hear him on my podcast next. You heard us here first, but now we're going to go over there next. Come on.
Yes. And hopefully I'll bring my audience with you.
Come on, let's go. Well, thank you for having me on today, man. This was a lot of fun.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
That's another rep in the inner arena. You didn't just listen, you leveled up your swag, self-awareness, why power, aligned action, and grit. If this hit home, share it. Subscribe to the Let's Think About It podcast and lock in with me on YouTube at Swag Coaching. Until next time, stay aware, lead with your why, act in alignment, and keep your grit strong.
Strapped in the paint, getting back down. We going big, going big.